9:30 for some policy revisions and clarifications in the verbiage on these policies.
Sorry.
What's the first one? PP standing for page, or what?
Yeah.
8? Page 8 in the policy manual?
I think
Page
the
6.
first one's page 6.
Oh.
Hi, you reached Ellen at 327-6601. Please leave a message and I'll return your call. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Ellen. The number to call back, 822-3556. Thank you.
Okay. Did mine get covered up?
Woman, get his.
You want one of these? No.
Just follow along. Okay, so the first one is page 6.
And it just puts this kind of in this first kind of definitions, because it's also in the sick, annual, and holiday pay, but you have to go though to each one of those, where if they just kind of right off the bat sees permanent, temporary, and seasonal employees earn sick and annual leave along with holiday pay from the first day of employment for.
They begin accruing it first day of
Yeah.
employment.
Instead of having to go to sick leave, okay, do these people earn sick
Oh.
leave? Oh, and then have to go to the holiday page and then the
Mhm.
annual leave page where
Now it's all
this just kind of spells it out.
spelled it out on the one page.
Yep. So, any problem with that one?
This is the yellow highlighted part.
Yeah, that's just
Mhm.
being added.
Okay. Nothing majorly changing there, just clarification. And the other one's page
8.
8.
And then it just adds that the department head must follow the commissioner's directive to consult with MACO before any terminations can occur. Departments will be responsible for deductible if advice from MACO is not followed.
Okay. Sounds fair.
And then the recruitment thing is just kind of cleaning that up.
That's page 15.
Yep.
Page 15, the recruitment process.
So, however, if you see anything,
Ellen? Hey, hello. Did you want to be present for this meeting? Oh, okay. I'm going to put you on speaker. We have Laurie, Roman, Dwayne, and Jason McLeese.
And Mary.
Yes, and Mary Furlong. Okay, Ellen.
All right.
Morning.
Good morning.
it just adds, I think, let's see.
So, and then if it says, human resources will conduct reference and background checks and schedule interviews. Does that mean they can also, along with the department
Yep.
director head? Because I mean, I imagine if I was the sheriff, I'd want to make some phone calls on my.
Well, that's not really a background check. I mean, that's kind of.
It's just, yeah, it's just, you know.
But the department head can do the
Yeah, well,
references
yeah.
also. So.
Right, yeah, it's just as the,
Right.
I don't know if we want to put in there,
Along with the department head, along with human resources can conduct references and reference checks, and then the background checks and schedule interviews. That's kind of
yeah.
would be her.
that's- Yeah.
deal. But I just in my
Could we just put may? Human resource may conduct?
yeah
I mean, it would
whatever
be at the
makes it
discretion
simple,
of,
yeah.
it would be at the discretion of the department head.
Yeah.
If he wanted her to do it or if
Right,
they want
yeah.
to do it, so
Right.
how do we want
Yeah,
to?
the word may will kind of allow that.
Just put may.
Not to be confused with in May.
Not confused with what?
In May.
In May?
It will
Oh,
be done
in
May.
Okay, alrighty. And department head supervisor will select a committee to conduct interviews, human resources, and one commissioner if available. We'll put that in there. Will be present during the interview. And then this was one that the department head supervisor will extend the verbal offer of employment to the candidate selected, and human resources will prepare a written offer letter to employment for the candidate. Okay,
Yeah, I like it.
okay.
Looks good.
So, okay, are we good with that, those changes? Okay.
Now, page 35.
Oh, what do we have?
So
Oh.
we took something out, so that's why I
Oh.
highlighted. You should.
Oh, no, I was just
Okay.
looking at 15. Oh, yeah, we highlighted, just that in compensation information for employees required to perform on-call duty shall be available from the payroll clerk. We just took that out because you guys don't get any.
So what'd you take out there?
Well, it just says compensation information for employees required to perform on-call duty shall be available from the payroll clerk. Well,
On page 36, Jason.
35.
35.
Oh, I'm sorry, the policy,
Right.
yeah, there, I read it out.
So you're removing that because why?
Because I think when they're hired, or the department head usually informs the employee on-call compensation.
Yeah, we explain it.
Yeah, so I
but-
mean, I don't know.
Either or, they could
Oh.
too, but yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's half a dozen 160. It looks like to me. I don't.
It's what?
Half a dozen to 160.
Yeah, I didn't know if-
because they have all the compensation information also. So
Yeah, well,
that
we
do,
can leave
but
that in
However,
there.
like I
Yeah,
said,
I
if it's
didn't
just
know if-
cleaning up stuff,
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, I would think if they want to know what they get paid for on-call, they're going to ask their supervisor.
right, and we go over that usually through the
Yeah.
right
through
off the get go. So
Well, yeah, well, and then it explains it down below anyway. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we can strike that. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what that
Well,
meant.
I think that's why because it was kind of redundant because the on-call. And then we just took out the employee must work those 3 hours. Because like if you go and saw out a tree and it takes you 15 minutes, you're
Right.
not going to go up and sit around the office for
right, no,
2 hours and 45
No,
minutes. So
especially
we
if
just-
they
I agree
might
with that.
need to get back to sleep for the
Yeah.
snowstorm coming or whatever.
So anyway, we just took those.
that sounds good.
Good, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go on that one. And we just switched the job transfer forms.
Are we on page 36 now?
Yeah. From the payroll clerk to HR. Cause I think you have all those forms, don't you? Or we can leave them both in, it's whatever.
Okay, well, maybe we could have it be available either or in case
Okay.
somebody's gone, huh?
Okay,
I don't know.
and put payroll clerk
Somebody
and-
could be on
or
vacation.
HR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page 39. Employment policies.
Prior to schedule, okay, we've added exit into B, prior to scheduling the interview, we put exit interview. Matters such as return of property and finalizing project shall be considered. Human Resources shall conduct the exit interview with the existing employee and shall ensure all county property is returned. At exit interview, hand out grievance policy and COBRA information and obtain signatures for receipt. Send by email or certified mail if there's no exit interview. So that everybody gets the information they need when they exit.
Is certified mail obviously is good if they don't come and do it. Is sending an email considered solid enough from?
I don't think so, because I did once send someone and I put on there, I wanted a return receipt. Well, they have the option of clicking off that and not letting me know they received it. So with most things, what Mackenzie says is do a certified and a regular mail, and then you're covered. There's just no question.
Okay,
So
so
I
we
don't-
we don't need send by email or certified
Oh,
mail. We
Okay.
should scratch that then.
Yeah, I do want to scratch email because I can't prove that they got it.
So
So
send
scratch
by certified
Mail.
mail and regular mail.
Yeah.
Send by,
Can we just take out the E and send by mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Send by mail and
Or, yeah,
not or and.
right.
so just send by mail if there's no exit interview.
Send by mail and certified mail.
Oh.
Kenny says you have to have
Okay,
both
and-
to cover your butt.
Okay.
She just said you're totally covered with that.
Okay,
Now page 39. Or that's the same
That
one?
was the-
that was the same thing.
Now page 43.
Okay, so.
Travel compensation.
I just had her bold on the travel expenses, a copy of the agenda, because almost everyone that I get does not have an agenda attached. And
Mm-hmm.
then Casey has to get a hold of them, and we need an agenda. Because I always write on there, need an agenda. So
Yep.
anyway, we just bolded that. We
Okay.
did on that. And then on the working holiday.
This is page 58.
Yep.
58 in the policy book on holiday.
Yep. It had shall receive 8 hours of holiday benefits. We took out shall receive 8 hours holiday benefits and put shall receive holiday pay based on their weekly work schedule. Because we were paying the sheriff's department one way and the road department another way, and so in order to make it fair. Because like before, Jason, the road department would work 8 hours in the summertime, or
Mhm.
they'd only get 8 hours holiday and have to take 2 hours annually
Right.
to make up for their 10 hours.
Right.
Or the sheriff's office,
Right.
because of, we extended their union
Is that
stuff.
Ellen's phone or?
Must
Yeah.
be.
Tell the magpies to be quiet, Ellen.
Anyway, that's
sorry,
the change
say
on
again?
that one.
Yep.
Okay with that one?
I'm okay with that one.
Okay,
Page
now in the
64.
Family Medical Leave Act one, Alan has a, and I think,
I know I got very wordy on that.
yeah, and I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of pare it down to where it says, basically with the approval of the commissioners, remote, or what is it? Remote hours worked in with FMLA, as related to family members or significant other medical issues. We don't have to put in there, this policy does not permit employees to work remotely when employees on medical leave. Oh, well, yeah, we'll leave that in there. Okay, Ellen's had in there, beginning July 1st, a Mineral County employee may request, but we'll leave that out because the revision in the policy will have today's date. An employee who shall make a written request to work remotely to his or her supervisor, department head. The employee shall attempt to provide as much information as possible. Anyway, we'll kind of reword this and then send it to you and see what you think, Ellen, before it's.
Sure.
We'll just kind of to pare it down a little bit. But it's the same thing as remote work on FMLA for a family member to be able to work remotely on a limited basis or whatever.
Right, and I figured that'd be a good place to start.
Okay.
Just kind of a language instead of also not even delving into if you're taking family medical leave for yourself. So this would,
Right. Yeah.
if somebody's out because they're sick, this
Yeah,
is not going to allow them to work remotely. 'Cause
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll just kind of pare this down a little bit, and but basically, it's allowing an employee to work remotely from home if a family member is sick. And it's just FMLA for remote work at home.
Sheriff Top.
On this conversation, I thought of, you guys were talking last week when you were arguing this. DIS should be able to, if say Melanie on her computer, when she logs on, DIS can track that. So when you guys were saying, how do we know they're actually working? I would assume DIS can tell us how many keystrokes somebody's done on a laptop from their house on county work time. And, just like my buddy who works for Social Security, they track his keystrokes. They know if he's at his computer or not when he's working remotely from home.
I would
I
think.
assume we can set that up. DIS can set that
Boy,
up
that's
for
a great, I didn't even
this
think of that.
circumstances.
That's a great idea.
So then-
Because almost all the work is going to be on a computer. I mean, there might be some phone work, but almost
Right.
all the work is going to be using the computer.
Right, so that now we've got the trust issue possibly solved, that no, DIS tracked it.
Yeah.
This person was on and active on their computer for so many hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe it sends an alert to the supervisor, computer hasn't been active in 2 hours or something, or an hour or whatever. I don't know. I would think it's something to look into.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get some wording changed around, or condense your wording down a little bit, Ellen, but it's basically,
Sure.
The remote work from home on FMLA. Okay?
Okay. Now page 69, looks like item 7 there. Immediately report any accident occurring at work to your department head and or to human resources, whether or not there is immediate evidence of personal injury. That's always been kind of a required practice.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't.
If they don't, then
They
Yeah.
shouldn't be
they
eligible.
yeah,
for
they're
that.
not gonna be able to get there.
I think though that, I think you have a couple days, like if it's a work comp thing, I think you have a couple days to report it to work comp. You should report it to your supervisor, but like as far as work comp goes.
Right,
you have
but yeah,
2 days.
your supervisor has to know.
Right,
Yeah.
and we always do, like if there's anything that even happens, you know,
Mhm.
we write it down
Mhm.
just in case it's
Right.
turned into something. Whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it could even be a paper cut, no big deal, but then it becomes infected 3 days later, at least they told you about it.
right.
The safety, when we had
Oh,
a
yeah.
safety meeting, it was decided by the department heads, this wording, that it would go to department head and to human resources at the same time. We had a couple of issues where the report sat on a department head's desk and we missed the deadline twice for reporting. And so that decision actually came from department heads who were in a safety
In
meeting.
the safety meeting, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So page 81,
So do we have accident forms then? Like for something like that, say somebody
Mhm, you
skins
can-
their elbow? Because I don't have any accident
Yep.
reporting forms.
Stop by and I can give you those, yep.
And then on the non-exec comp time, I think, yeah, Kellyanne pointed this out, or that you can only accrue 40 hours comp time. In the policy handbook, it had 120. And then down at the bottom, maximum 40 instead of 80.
she pointed out in our policy manual, it's capped at 40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does state statute have a cap?
It used to be 40 all the time in the old handbook, and then when this new handbook was, it came out as 120.
Yeah, and I think.
Which I always thought it was 40.
Yeah,
I never even read
and
that.
I think
so.
what I do, I think it was kind of out of Mako's handbook, but it was that, it kind of depends on the county, I think, so.
Yeah, so is that what we, I mean, because I know on the highway patrol, they let, their cap was like 120.
Yeah. But I
So-
think, yeah, I think ours has always been 40, so that they, like if somebody was.
Well, in the
to
old
leave or
old
whatever.
handbook, I think it said 40
Yeah.
hours plus you had to use it within 30 days or something,
Yeah.
and that's out of here, which is good because, like I said, one of my guys likes comp time, and sometimes you can't use it within 30 days. So, but 40 hours is.
Anyway, that's just the change there is.
Okay.
Okay, what was 82? Oh, okay, the
Call out.
call out, yeah. What we wanted to do on there. It says a call out of an employee while employee is off duty status shall be paid for a minimum of 3 hours at 1.5 times. No more than 3 hour claim in a 24-hour period will be accepted unless prompted by district and
Distinct and
distinct,
separate.
I can just cut a line through there, and separate events, and the 3 hour pay time has elapsed. The date and time call will be explained in the overtime explanation box. So when we set that up, I think you were going by what you did on the highway patrol to, I guess you can explain.
To reward the guys for answering the phone and going out on unscheduled hours, and rather than just be a regular time call out at 3 in the morning, that they got some reward for answering the phone. So they got basically paid 3 hours a time and a half. If the call took 2, they still got the 3. But then we found out now there's an issue with Fair Labor Standards where each hour now is also being counted towards.
Because it is actually
Time
hours
work.
work.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And
But-
that was,
Right.
wasn't the intent, it was just you guys get 3.5 hours overtime for 3 hours, but then that 1 hour, if you only worked 1 hour, then you're putting that in your regular time, so that 1 hour's actually, you're getting paid double time and a half.
When it comes to the end of the week.
Right, yeah.
So that's where Lori talked to Kellyanne and noticed that that's what we're going to try to make that not be quite as.
And then if it was like on a Sunday, then it's gonna throw you into overtime then at the bottom is another 3 hours, so technically then you'd almost be getting paid triple time. I mean,
Well, you're assuming that you're only working for 1 hour and claiming 3, though.
Right,
most
no,
time
but I
we
mean,
most of the time
yeah.
when we go, it's 3 hours. Generally, like in the wintertime,
Yeah.
you know, you get that overtime, that's still time work at the end of the week anyway. It's just
Right.
but I see what you're saying. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's double time and a half, and then it's double time and a half at the end, too, if you don't take any time off.
Right, yeah. So Roman called Mackenzie to get it clarified, and she said, no, that you have to get paid.
Yeah, Kellan's right, hour for hour.
Yeah.
So
And that
what
was my-
Mackenzie said is that what a lot of counties do is instead of calling it a 3-hour call out, it's a call out
Stipend.
stipend. So
Sure.
so then you're still getting your hour towards, you know, your overtime for the end of the week and all that, but you're getting
A stipend.
$75 just for answering the phone. So or whatever amount we arrive at. If it was $100 or something, so then you get the $75 for answering the phone, and then you get paid.
And then your hours.
Right, and then it may or may not be overtime depending on the end of the week, like you said.
So even if it's only,
Right.
you have to go cut a tree out for 15 minutes, you're still getting $75.
Plus
And
count
plus your hours.
of work. What do you think of that, Sheriff?
Okay. Union will, if they bring in a union, they'll fight you on that, but there's no union right now, so. We gotta have it to where, I think the guys don't care as long as they get paid something.
Yeah.
They won't answer the phone.
Right.
And
So.
It's already tough enough as it is.
Right, so if they get
It's
$75 for answering the phone, and then they go and they're getting paid for their hour, which are all likely going to be overtime, so that's time and a half, plus $75 for going.
They're still getting their hours.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting paid for the hours they're actually working.
Right.
So if they're out 2 hours, because by the time they get dressed and out the door
Mhm.
and drive to wherever, that's gonna be an hour.
Yeah,
And then
Right.
handling the call.
so they're still getting rewarded, just
Right.
not messing up these, because the county has to pay hour for hour, and then of course along with that, there's more overtime involved when we're doing hour for hour, so, and then there's retirement and work comp and blah, 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 so,
Yeah, if you do stuff, that's,
yeah.
you're gonna have to, we're gonna have a meeting and spell all this out. You know, whenever you make this go into effect.
And part of that was, we were hoping people would come today, see on the agenda, to talk about some of these policy revisions. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly simple. If you get called out, put down a $75 call-out stipend, and then you keep track, and then you get paid for your hours, so. Rather than have it be a 3-hour automatic, because
Right.
that really confuses people on the actual hours worked versus the 3-hour call-out. I was only out for 1 hour, but I'm getting, that.
Yeah, it
whole-
was really confusing when it comes to payroll. I mean, okay, now, how do
Well,
you put it on your
Our
time
whole
card?
payroll's time card is confusing.
Yeah.
So then all you'd have to
Should be
do
revamped.
then is if it was a call out, maybe put a little asterisk next to that, whatever hours, and then, like down at the bottom of the time card here, where Kellan does her thingy, just put call out $75.
Yeah.
Or if they were called out in that pay period
Call out pay.
3 times, it would be 3 times 75. So anyway,
So that's the number we're gonna follow. I mean, let me know and I'll tell the guys.
Well, at $75, like if I go out for 1 hour, I lose $26. Just on my
For 1 hour?
Huh? For 1 hour.
If you only did 1 hour of work,
Yeah, if I only did 1 hour work, I'd get 1 hour pay plus $75. On the call out, I would get $26 more. So I don't know, maybe.
are you talking about the 3 hours times?
Yeah, 3 hours versus like a 1 hour
20.
with that. But I guess I should do it both ways then, shouldn't I?
do you want a calculator?
I got
That's
it.
fine. Well, yeah, we still want it to be
Right, I
a
know.
reward to take the phone call, I just don't want it to be confusing with payroll. There's a 3-hour call out, but I only work 1 hour. So, and sometimes people are putting down 3 even though they only work one, and then Callan marks it down that they work 3 for the county.
Right.
Right, because it has to go to a sign.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, these time cards,
Yeah.
there's another argument.
Yeah.
It's gotta be revamped eventually.
So yeah, you know, that's fair because if I work 3 hours and I actually get more, $26 or something the other side of it. So I guess it's right in the middle.
It just, yeah.
Yeah. I
So will
don't
that
know.
work? Just put in there
$75
as a
call out
call out of
stipend.
an employee while employees on off-duty staff shall be paid a stipend of $75.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. It's nice to be able to, you know, like I said, I'm pretty lucky to have my guys are pretty committed. So when I call them, they answer.
And then just leave in there the date and time called. Will be
Yeah.
explained in the overtime explanation box.
And that's important, I think. I hope that the deputies do that too, because it's, when we're looking at the time card, we'd like to know what the call out, documented, called out at 2:30 in the morning, bar fight at 4 Aces, or whatever.
There's not that much room. How much do you want us writing on these time cards? We're writing that, then we're writing, all the other stuff you guys got.
Well, there's that second
Stone
sheet,
Garden
that,
stuff.
aren't they still putting that second sheet on there that has the overtime explanation?
No.
No?
I just put a line like where ours is. I just put a line over and put CO snow or CO.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be real, I mean, the date's on there, it could be CO for call out, bar fight, CO for domestic, CO for forest fire. But when there's absolutely nothing on there, well, you're the guy that signed the time card, wouldn't you like to know?
I have a pretty good idea when they get called out, I know what they're doing.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, that's fine. I'll tell them.
Well, then it's preserved for future audits and whatnot.
Right.
Okay, we got. For workman's comp, every work-related injury should be reported immediately to the injured employee's department head, supervisor, and just put and HR, just because there's been.
Which one was this? Page 84?
84,
Every work.
just adds HR to the department head supervisor, so that, make sure that the
Okay.
right paperwork gets done.
Call immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we added on the clothing allowance, sheriff deputies and detention officers will receive their first year clothing allowance on their first paycheck. If employment is terminated within the first year, the clothing allowance will be deducted from the final paycheck on a prorated basis. All other clothing allowances will be paid quarterly.
I would word that if the employee quits. I mean, I think if we terminate them, they don't have to pay it back, but if they quit, they have to pay it back.
How about if employment terminates?
Sounds good.
Okay. This is on accident reporting.
So how many? We're over 10 o'clock, this gentleman, next week. Should we
We can
get back to this in a
get back to
second?
this.
Okay. We're gonna briefly end the policy, continue then, and
Employee must report every work-related accident, injury, or disease immediately to department head, supervisor, and HR. Must notify, it's got safety coordinator, but we put in HR there. Must notify HR immediately.
Isn't that the same exact thing that was on 64?
And that's the third time in here that we just, yeah.
Employee must. It just kind of adds HR to that, and then, we took out the department head supervisor must complete section 11 of the form within 24 hours. Next business day and submit the form to HR. Did you take
Right.
that out?
We did take that out.
Okay.
Yep, it's redded.
red line.
Yep, redlined.
Good on that one? Okay.
Read it out. Thank you for redlining.
Oh, yeah. So, This is out of the MACO handbook that employees who operate their personal vehicles during the course of employment and receiving mileage reimbursement must have liability insurance. I think MACO said that they're supposed to show us evidence that they have insurance. So I don't know if that's something we want to have everybody give a copy of their liability copy. I don't know.
I would think when they turn in the sheet to be paid, they photocopy their insurance.
Ellen, you have yours give me a copy of their insurance and it's in their file, correct?
My employees for the
Yes,
vehicle?
CVAs.
Yes, I mean, that's always the goal. I always try to remember to do it like the beginning of the year, or maybe we should do it on the fiscal year, but, and I should make sure that I have, when I was looking at those last night, make sure I set mine, and I can remind them.
I think yours are all
Yeah, that's
up to date,
that's just
your
the thing that we
CVAs. With their
So
liability.
our health department nurses, when they go to home sites, we're supposed to know about their insurance.
Well, it says in the thing that they must have liability insurance. Well, how do we know unless we have a copy of their
Yeah.
insurance form whether they have liability insurance? So
So there's an annual thing then, we collect it every year? Is that what you think, Alan? Just an annual collection of the card?
Yeah, I had brought it up and was talking to John about it, saying we had done that in Anaconda where it was like every year we would get a memo saying, hey, don't forget, if you're driving your car for work-related business, make sure we have copies of your valid driver's license and proof of insurance. So a lot of people have their insurance on a 6-month basis, so they might just want to try to remember to give it to Dawn on a 6-month basis.
So whenever you
But I
get
say
your,
yearly
whenever
is
you
good,
get your
you know,
little,
and then it's up to the employee to make sure that they get their next 6 months to Dawn.
And what's considered county business? I mean, obviously, the CVAs, because they drive around part of their job, but are we also talking that an employee that goes to a convention in Helena driving their car to get reimbursed, that we're supposed to have their insurance card when maybe it's someone in the treasurer's office and only goes twice a year, but they're not driving their car
Yeah,
regularly?
anything like Deb and I came over for this the county attorney's conference, and so if we happen to get into an accident, that's going to be, you know, it might just go through my insurance, but it's something that I would end up reporting because I was traveling for work. So anything. So if I'm going to Missoula for a court case, if I think it might have been you, Roman, who was saying the nurses are going to homes.
Yeah.
Parents as teachers and something. Yep,
Yeah.
all of that. And it's just as an extra layer, you know, of coverage.
So we commissioners need to collect ours too if we're
Yeah.
claiming mileage when we go places.
Yeah, and not even just for the mileage, just in case you should happen to get into an accident or something, or somebody hits you. You know, just to be on the safe side.
okay,
Because it might trigger workers' comp, a whole bunch of things.
Okay. I'll get my insurance card brought in so we
Yeah.
can make a copy.
Yeah, and I don't think I have either. I was suggesting it, and then I keep forgetting to make a copy, so I'll make sure I do that.
Okay. And Dwayne doesn't have insurance. Shall I have the sheriff write him a ticket right now or wait until he gets pulled over on the highway?
Do I have to have insurance on a bicycle? They took my car away. Sorry,
No, you don't.
I'm just kidding.
so
Yeah.
we're
But
just
it's also-
adding,
it's a good protection for the county too, because we're basically, the employees have been told, you know, if you're gonna drive your car as part of some work duties, you have to have a valid license and you have to have liability insurance, at least the mandatory minimum for the state. If they don't, we put that in policies, and if they haven't done that, I think we're in a better position to say, hey, it was in our policies, they knew that they had to do this. You know, and that's gonna be on the employees.
So I have a question about deputies. Mike, does it show up just during the background check that they have valid driver's licenses? Or how do you know that your guys have valid driver's licenses? I'm sorry, couldn't
It's
you?
just a photocopy of the driver's license. It's gonna have an expiration date on it.
Right, but we don't do that. I don't know if Mike does. I
Background
don't.
checks.
Background check?
Yeah, but I mean, why wouldn't that just be the way? Because I don't think valid driver's license is necessarily on your criminal background check. It's going to be on your driving history. But we don't,
When we
there's
run
no
a-
reason for us to pull people's driving history.
All right, I guess you guys, whatever. We run them, we know they have a valid driver's license. When I run them, it gives us their valid driver's license, and it tells us their criminal history.
Now, the sheriff's department, obviously, he's gonna check his deputy to make sure they have, for the county purpose for Dawn,
But
if we're collecting, when it says a valid driver's license, like Ellen says, it's sufficient just to have have it presented to you. You really don't have the
next
you don't really have the
deputy
authority or the need to go beyond that, because I mean, even at a rental car company, they're just gonna look at your license, see if they're not gonna run a KQ
Right,
and
yeah.
check to see if you're suspended in Virginia. They go, okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. You're
The
presented.
next-
Yeah, and it's none of our business if somebody had a speeding ticket. or
Right,
something. As
none of
long
our
as
business.
They're valid, yeah, because
Yeah.
I think that'd be
The
too much
next
encroaching. in some of our
deputy
business.
meeting we have, we'll each pull out a driver's license, photocopy it, and get you copies. And then I'll run them too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
and I
just,
think, I think it'd be a good idea to even put a little note in the personnel files. Not that it would be your responsibility, John, but just a little note of when they expire, just as a, maybe every year it's just like a gentle reminder of, hey, anybody whose license expires in 2028, remember to get us a copy, because they'll hopefully know to get their license reissued, but they might forget to give you a copy.
The department head should be watching that stuff. It shouldn't all go to Dawn, because you can't remember that, all those expiration dates and all that. So I think the
No, yeah,
department
that's
head
what I
should
was
take
saying.
care
If
of
you
that.
just did it on a yearly and just send it out to everybody saying, hey, just like a yearly reminder, hey, we need your insurance, and hey, please check your driver's license. If it expires this year, please make sure to get me a copy. So it's just one email to everybody on a group email, not like looking for each year or each month to send out emails to 3 or 4 people. Just maybe like December 31st or the end of June on our fiscal year, or something that you just send out an email. Hey, just like you kind of do with all the emails you send out to all of us now. Just a reminder, we need, if anybody's expiring, get me a copy, or if you haven't got me a copy, please get me one.
Fun.
so I guess that would be part of when you, when we hire somebody during their, sign up stuff too, if they're, I guess if you know that they're gonna be using their vehicle, going to a conference or whatever, to make sure you get a copy of their liability insurance and,
Yeah, that's a good idea, to just make that almost kind of like a standard at the beginning of a hire when they come in to do their initial paperwork.
So I'm just a
That'd be
little
a
bit,
great starting point.
so I am or am not gonna take a picture of their driver's license so that we have,
well, I think that you.
am I doing that with liability or
Yeah,
just the
I
liability?
would say both.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and if you're not sure, or you could always ask the department head, hey, do you think this person might be, driving to Missoula for something or going to a conference? But otherwise, I don't think because I don't think people have an expectation of privacy with their driver's licenses. It's a privilege to drive. So, yeah, so when they first start, they'll want a copy of their driver's license and a copy of their liability insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I guess we're just putting in there must have liability insurance and provide such evidence to HR. Employees whose personal vehicles are used for county business are responsible for immediately notifying. Do we want to keep department head and add HR of any change in status of their driver's license, any convictions affecting their driving record, and any changes in personal vehicle liability coverage?
I think that sounds good. It doesn't hurt to have both on there.
Okay.
If that sounds okay with you, Don.
Yes.
Okay. $94 of threats of actual violence, both direct and indirect, should be reported as soon as possible to the immediate department head, HR, and any other member of management. So we're just adding HR there.
Okay, and that's it, huh?
Yep.
And then Ellen, could you stay on the phone for this next one real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so,
Yep. I make a motion that we make policy revisions and clarifications to the
policy,
policy
handbook?
handbook numbered right there.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, motion to go ahead and adopt those new changes and clarifications. Any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So the next item on the agenda here is the removal of lots 58 from the West Mountain Estate subdivision.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, see you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
see-
Jason. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
So, Ellen, I just having you here because Andy's not here, and I was kind of hoping he would be, but do you know anything about this topic, about removing?
Yes, and I happen to be looking for emails. I might have put Dawn's name in or something. It might have been Wednesday. I think it might have been right before I left for the conference. And I had put Dawn's name in, I think maybe to look up policies and procedures, and I saw this email about this Western States, and Dawn sent it to me last week, and I missed it. But I had just quickly looked at the language on the resolution, and I just emailed Dawn back saying, I'm not quite sure I understand, and I want to make sure we kind of,
Okay.
I hate to push it off, but make sure we have the language right. I think I remember reading that it said that the lots would be removed from the subdivision, and I'm not sure that's what we intend. I think, are they looking to remove from like the homeowners association? And then if we remove it from the homeowners association, or if they did remove it from the subdivision, and they do revision of the plot of the subdivision, are they going to file a revised
Amendment to the plat?
an amendment? Yeah.
We have to.
So I was
Yeah.
thinking it may be, and I hate to do it through because I was late to the party to push this back on the HOA or not have it decided today. But I CC'd that to Andy because I thought, and I haven't looked to see if he's responded to it, but I thought it'd be good to check with him to see what he thinks.
Right. So, well, we'll go ahead and let,
So I would ask that we wait to vote on that language. We might just have to tweak it a little bit.
okay, well, we'll let Chris speak to what he's wanting, what's going on
Sure.
with removing the lot.
Morning, Alan. Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this is a subdivision that I took over back in 15 or 16. Miss Baum-Kirshner, who I don't know if any of you know, but she owns Shyrock Motor Coach Park. She had lent money to a gentleman many years ago in 07 or 08. He started West Mountain Estates, and then he never ever made a payment to her, and so she finally had to foreclose because he owed the county taxes, and so she stepped in, foreclosed, paid the back taxes, and I took this over. So I just want you to know that from a background standpoint that I didn't have anything to do with this, because Lot 58 does not belong in West Mountain Estates. It is not contiguous to the project. It cannot be serviced by the water from the project. And it should have never been part of it. It should have been a remainder parcel that was sold off separately. And so back in 2017, when I took over the project, I was the president of the HOA. At that point, Ms. Baum-Kirshner still owned, I believe, 51 of the 58 lots. So basically, however I voted on anything is how it went. There was only a few other property owners. Kelly Hunt was one of them. He was the vice president of the HOA, and he's now the president of the HOA. And then George Sherwood at West Mountain, or Montana Preferred Properties, he was the proxy vote. There was a dentist out of California that owned 5 homes in there that were rentals. And George Sherwood was the proxy for the dentist. So we made a motion, I believe it was September 17th, 2017 meeting, to remove Lot 58 from the subdivision because, again, it couldn't be serviced by anything. We thought it was unfair to have that, whoever that homeowner was going to be in the future, to have to pay into the HOA and not be serviced by anything that the rest of the subdivision was serviced by. So we had a vote, it was unanimous, and that's kind of where it stopped at that point because it wasn't a priority. That subdivision, I'm sure you know, is now sold out, and this is a remainder one that I have ownership of. I have a buyer for it. We've had several buyers come along for it, but every one of them, a contingency was that it be removed from West Mountain Estates. They didn't want to have to pay into the HOA. They didn't want to have to answer to the Architectural Review Committee if they built a house. I mean, none of it makes sense that this is still in it. So that's why we started the process now. And I already delayed the sale once. We were set to close on the 12th of this month after a delay, hoping that we were going to get it resolved today. And I understand that it doesn't seem like it's going to, so hopefully the buyer will do another extension for me, because frankly it's a pretty good offer, so I'd hate to lose it.
Yeah.
But I understand the language needs to be correct, so I was asked to provide a resolution. I drew one up. I did it in a Word format and sent it in. And the thing is, I understand Ellen might have an issue with some of the wording. I don't care how the wording reads. As long as Lot 58 comes out of the subdivision, she can draw whatever language she wants, and I don't think I have to sign it. I think just you guys have to sign it. But the point is, I don't care how the resolution reads as long as Lot 58 comes out of the subdivision. So if we need to delay and have Ellen tweak the language, I'm fine with that. I did have a talk with Andy, and I'm trying to remember, I believe it was probably before Ellen sent the email to Andy, and I don't know what that email says and what issues she might have. But I did talk to Andy, and he told me that if Ellen was okay with it, he didn't see any issues, and he wasn't going to stand in the way of Lot 58 coming out, and that's what I was told over the phone. So I believe it just comes down to kind of getting Ellen's blessing, then of course your blessing on it for it to come out.
So, and Chris, I'll lead, go ahead.
Doesn't it have to be submitted to the DEQ also to remove that from the previous subdivision?
I don't believe so, only because it's not hooked up to the public water system. And that's the part that DEQ approves. But we can absolutely check on that. But
I think that might be worth-
I was gonna say, Andy certainly did not bring that up as part of our conversation.
Andy texted me, and so like you mentioned your homeowners association, you had minutes and a vote or whatever.
Right.
So he said he thinks that he would need a letter from the HOA releasing the lot from the HOA.
Okay.
And then it would be a subdivision condition amendment. But he says, I haven't researched the approval document to see the exact language. I briefly looked at the resolution, and the language looked a bit problematic. I would hold off on a decision until Andy, has a chance to review it with
Okay.
Ellen.
Okay.
So yeah, I know you probably want an answer today, but it sounds like we've got a couple of hurdles.
Or was that just now that he
Just,
said-
yeah,
Will you ask him about the DEQ so he's
Okay.
got some kind of idea?
okay.
I'm just familiar
Sure.
with another subdivision that a lot was gonna be removed from,
Okay.
and they had to submit that to the DEQ. And
Okay.
there were, separate wells,
Right.
so there was no,
Okay.
it's just they were removing.
Right,
There
okay.
was 14 lots and it was gonna be 13, so
Gotcha. Okay.
that might be different. I don't-
So this would have its own well.
Yes.
And I know we have, next Friday is all-day budget, but could we put this on for the following Friday just to hold my feet to the fire?
Yeah.
So I can get this done, Chris? And I'm sure Andy and I've got a trial next week, but I know I can carve out some time with,
Yeah, and that's fine with me.
Andy.
Ellen, yeah, I'm actually down in Nevada on business next Friday anyway, so that works. The 16th works out really good for me to be back here for
okay,
that.
great. If we could squeeze in there, Dawn, that'd be great. And then that way it'll keep me on it and I won't put it on the back burner. And
Look here.
I have them on the 16th at 11.
that sounds good. Yeah, and I think it is just tweaking the language, just to make sure we're saying exactly what you wanted to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how quick he answers and then tell you about the DEQ concern,
Okay.
if it is an issue or
Yeah,
not.
I just curious.
So,
And if he doesn't respond, I mean, Dawn's got my number. She
Okay.
can call me or email me and let me know what he says.
okay, all right.
All right, well,
Well,
we'll put you on the 16th and hopefully we'll have an answer by then and can get it done.
Great. Appreciate your time.
All right,
All right.
all right. Thanks for
Thank
waiting. All right.
Thank you.
That
Thanks,
concludes that one.
Good job on that subdivision.